Welcome to the Pump and Dump channel for another video, this time doing a transaction in the theoretical model portfolio. So as you can see here, we're going to be taking some money out of Range Resources and putting into African Gold Group. There's a reason why I'm going to be putting it into African Gold Group and taking out of Range Resources, even though I do think that Range Resources still has upside to at least 1850 or so. And African Gold Group, the reason for purchasing this is in connection with the ongoing drilling and feasibility study update, which should come out in the next, I'd say, 2 months, maybe somewhere around there, and we'll then see what progress they have made in terms of growing the reserves and improving economics, using a higher gold price to get a higher net present value, and we'll see, of course, how that all pans out. But let's get right to the stocks themselves. And the exchange rate here, I have to use this one too to make sure that I convert correctly to get hopefully the right number of shares. So with this purchase here, I'm getting actually, like I was at 4,000 before. I can just show us at 4,000, and it's more than doubled, even though the share price is half, so you'd think it would triple. But the the Canadian dollar has done pretty well in the last year or so, as you can see. So in terms of the share price being down, if you take in US dollars, it's not that bad. Anyway, so African Gold Group, as you can see here, it closed at 16 cents. Range Resources at 14.31. And I want to look, of course, here at the natural gas price. Natural gas price is looking very positive. It's of course, it's extended here on the RSI. It's probably gonna get to somewhere around here, around the 80 level, I'd say, before it starts correcting downwards. So it's kind of getting overextended a bit. But there's just the narrative that supports natural gas prices remaining higher because of the shut-in oil production, or the lower capex that is just not going to come back until the oil producers feel comfortable bringing on more supplies, which of course, with the ongoing uncertainty with all the lockdowns, you never know when that will happen. So natural gas price is looking a bit overextended, and the oil price here is looking very questionable in my opinion. I could be wrong, but this, in my opinion, does not look good. We have basically a top here in March, and we have another top here over the last couple of days or weeks, and we see here that there's a trend line that goes up here, and it's below the resistance, is above the trend line. It's in this triangle. It has to break up or down, but the RSI is not looking good. We can see here that it was down, and then it had a kind of relief rally, and it's broken to the downside and pushed up against the lower channel. So to me, this does not look very good. I think in terms of the oil companies, the oil stocks that I have in my theoretical model portfolio, in my own portfolio, it's not too dramatic. I mean, I don't think that Petrobras or PetroChina is going to be a weak performer because the oil price goes down. I think they're substantially underpriced already, so I would expect even in the lower oil price environment they would still do very good. So yeah, oil is not looking so good here, but I could be wrong, but it is what it is. Gold, on the other hand, here we have something that quite surprising, but it is what it is. We came off this double bottom here in March and April, and we've been rallying, and I thought we would stay below 1900, which yeah, where's 19? It's about here. I'm thinking that we'd stay below 1900, and we'd go sideways for a year or so before going down. But the key thing is, in terms of this downward channel, this bullish flag, it seems like we're breaking to the upside, and this will bring in the the technical people who believe in buying the breakout. So this could rally to 1900, yeah, to 1900 easily. and potentially, up to 1950 again. My personal view of what is reasonable is it goes between 1950 and 1700 for a year or so before breaking down, and then eventually, like in 2024 or so, I'd say we'd bottom again at around 1300. And yeah, we'll see, of course, whether that all pans out or not, because of course there is the case to be made with all the quantitative easing and stimulus that it could go to the 3000, but we don't know that. The only thing we have as a guide is the equities, and as long as the equities are cheap, in my opinion, there's a case to be made for the price to remain high until the equities catch up with the gold price. So yeah, African Gold Group. If you look at some of the targets, I lowered them a bit. This is all based upon a 1530 gold price. 46 cents is what I think it's worth right now. 136 if they were to get financed, and 252 if they got into starting construction for production. That's kind of where I see the value at. So 46 is, of course, it's way higher than where we are now. It's about 3x from here. And if we mark to market at the current gold price of about 1860 or whatever, it's more like above $1 a share in terms of current value. And in terms of the if they raise the financing, which this kind of is representing this number here, which I think they could do within a year if they update their permits and they start construction, then that would also be a good deal higher. So yeah, I mean the path for African Gold Group is still the same. It's just the circumstances have not allowed them to pursue the path they set out to go, which was starting construction last year. And I thought about this a lot because I think you have to look at the people and whether they are honest or whether they are deceiving people into buying the stock because they want to dump it. And I've looked at the transactions that they've made, and the CEO has about 900,000 shares, which is of course not a lot if you consider that he is making like a bunch of money and probably has made a bunch of money in the past. But anyway, the key here is that I think the CEO really wanted to take this into construction because that's what he was hired for, and for him it was always going to be that way. And maybe he's deceiving himself a little bit. And I mean, we all have wishful thinking. We'd like to do what we're good at. We don't. I mean, he doesn't want to be exploring. He's an engineer, so he wants to be building this thing. And that's that's the way it is, right? So yeah, I think he's been forced into exploration because they can't get these permits updated, and therefore they can't raise the financing until this COVID restrictions in Mali are over, and they can get the investors to sign on to put it into construction. And the key thing is, in the last presentation they were talking about how they had like an 18 to 24 month plan of exploring to grow the reserves to 1.5 million ounces, which is more than sufficient in my opinion to get this into construction. As long as the gold price remains favorable, it would of course be best if they could get it done within the next 12 months, because as I was alluding to, my vision for the gold price is to go sideways for 1 year before breaking down in 2022, breaking lower back into the 1500 to 1700 maybe range, and staying there for a year or whatever, and whatever the future holds, I don't know exactly, but that's kind of what my opinion is, and I have to trust in my own opinion, and that's what I have to act upon. So yeah, I think that's what they need to do, is to get with the updated feasibility study, they need to get above 1 million ounces and then persuade the financiers to give them the money to put it into construction, and then we should see a market improvement in the share price. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for here. I mean, it doesn't have to happen, it could happen. I'm willing to risk money on it, even my own, not just in the theoretical model portfolio, but also in the real portfolio. I have money at stake there, and I'm not going to just roll over. I've seen these kind of things play out before where it has come to fruition, and I've not been part of all of them. And in some cases, I got out far too soon because I didn't know what I was doing. And I just don't want to miss it this time is the key. So if it does pan out the way I'm thinking, then this should be a top performer in the long run. But it's not something you just put everything in and just hope for the best. This has to be right sized for the portfolio. As you can see, it's 1,500 in value relative to 27,000, which is about 5%, just above, I guess, 5%. So yeah, that's not too much. It's okay. I mean, ideally, if it does work out, we would like to say we had all our money in it. If it doesn't work out, we'd like to have even less in it, just the way it is. And yeah, that's just how it goes. So what else can I mention here quickly before I conclude this video? Yeah, natural gas has been doing well. CNX was up today with Range Resources. Cabot Oil and Gas has been up too, but it's not performing so well because it's a more conservative play, which is not so leveraged to the gas prices, Range Resources or CNX. Even though CNX is not necessarily super leveraged, it's just more leveraged than Cabot Oil and Gas. It's because of the debt to equity ratio, I'd say. Yeah, and then the dry bulk shippers have not done so good the last couple of days, but it's okay. It doesn't really matter. The value is still there, and whether they achieve their full valuation or not is not necessarily important. The key is that as long as the positions are working and the market is favorable, these should improve. That's the key. Also, Silver Corp Metals had a nice move today. Other miners had even better moves. It's more, I would say, related to what I was mentioning here, the move above this channel that we were in, this breakout here. This is very positive for the equities. This is kind of where the people start believing in higher gold prices again, so they start bidding up the shares. It's I would say it's more of a time to be selling into strength rather than to buying with the crowd. I calculated fair value for Silver Corp, and it's only 668 on the lower end, and still above 7. Was it? Yeah, still above 770 on the higher end. So yeah, with Silver Corp Metals, I think that's kind of just moving back up to fair value as the sentiment turns bullish again. And we'll see on the 19th, I think, when they report. And depending upon what they report, it could, turn into an even bigger move up, or it could end like Turquoise Hill did the other day when it reported earnings and lower projections, and the market didn't like it at all. I also saw the management of Silver Corp Metals. They have not been buying recently. They've been selling. Let me just bring up this website once I find them. There we go. You can see here the management is in Canadian dollars, not in US dollars like I have in the portfolio there. But it is what it is. They've been selling as recently as February and March. They've been selling. They've been selling for a while, even higher prices and lower prices, but they haven't been buying since I'd say here 2018 at 330 Canadian. So I mean, you want to, of course, take the management as not participating in insider trading, but I mean, the projections in the presentation, the corporate presentation they put out, I mentioned in the other video, I think, they they clearly indicated that it should be a good quarter, and I'm not so sure about future guidance, whether they're going to mention some COVID stuff being positive or negative. Well, more likely negative than positive, but I don't know what they will report in terms of that. But in terms of the the acquisition here, we can see based upon how Safe Bulkers has gone down in price and Silvercorp Metals has gone up in the near term. It was of course an accretive transaction that worked out quite nicely, but this could of course reverse, so I need to keep that in mind. Still have some Safe Bulkers because I still believe in them moving higher. And yeah, that's gonna, I guess, conclude this video. As always, remember this is not investment advice or recommendations for you to buy or not to buy these names mentioned in this video. You can of course do so, but it's of course at your own risk. And I could change my mind, and I could be wrong. So never take my word for granted as a basis for you to invest. Even though the performance, it does signify that I've been right, but I've also been wrong on other things. I mean, Diamondback has still not rolled over, even though I think it should have already, but it's not. And yeah, it doesn't always work out. So gonna leave it with that. Remember, leave questions, comments, opinions in the comment section if you like this content. Don't forget to subscribe, and have a good day.